their lungs are dynamic, so they're moving, so they're really hard to get a diagnosis on lung cancer. So it's also the #1 cancer killer in the whole world is lung cancer because you don't have symptoms. So with the smallest catheter, you're able to get out to that really far periphery of the lung to be able to give patients an answer to what that small lung nodule is. So it's a better technology for being able to diagnose lung cancer patients is the background and the importance of the robot. Does anyone have any questions on what the robot does? No? Okay, so I'll turn it on. So turning it on is really simple. You have your system cart, which is actually the robot, and then it's just two pieces, your system cart and then the controller. So this controller, there's a cord that plugs in at the bottom of the robot right here. So this just clips into place, and there's a little arrow here with a white dot at the front that clips into this little metal port, and then there's a cord in the back that just plugs into the wall. This light here will be white, and you just click it and hold it down until it turns blue. It's the same company as Da Vinci, so if anyone works with the Da Vinci robot, you'll hear the same chimes and noises and sounds. So as that boots up, I'll start to open this equipment here. And it's really easy to set up. There's only 3 pieces that you guys have to worry about. So one of the first pieces, which will come from GI, is your catheter. So this is the small catheter that I was talking about, only 3.5 millimeters. So it's really tiny, and the inside is only 2 millimeters. So the benefit of this is that unlike other scopes that have a camera on the outside, this only has one working tool channel, so your camera actually will go through the inside of the catheter, which makes it to be able to be so small. So as I open this, these screens will also flip open, and it just takes a second to turn on. So this has 8 lives. So just like if you guys work with Da Vinci, the components, the instruments, and accessory have amount of lives. So this catheter has 8 lives, and it's what actually moves in the patient's lungs. And at the end of the procedure, you'll see the end of the lives once you hit finish procedure, how many lives are left. So it'll be important if you're in that procedure and it says expired, to write expired with a Sharpie on the instrument so that when it goes back down to SPD and GI, they're able to reorder another piece of this catheter. Another piece that you have is your catheter guide. This will come peel packed, sterilized from SPD, and this has 15 lives, and this holds your catheter straight. And then you have a vision probe, which I have over here, and this gives you your vision, and your vision has 5 lives. So this is your vision. So it's really easy to set up. You only have 3 pieces to set up, and everything has pictures. So if you ever get lost, you can just look at the photo. So first it's going to tell you, all I did was flip this screen over, perform your system tests. So you're going to move your arm first. So this arm right here, there's a metal button at the bottom that's able to give you the ability to move this arm. And you just want to have it in a place where there's no lights above so that it can go up and do its system tests. So all I'm going to do here is hit start system tests. This is going to start to move. You'll start to hear those Da Vinci chimes. And while that's doing that, you have a sensor port connection cleaner, which is honestly just like flossing. Over here. Thank you. Which will live in the back of the robot. There's a little drawer here that just opens, which this will live in. And there's what I call a hat and a no hat. So what you do first is have the hat on and take off this little plastic piece, and you take your catheter, and there's 2 arrows here that move the arm down so you can see, and there's a square, and you're basically going to be like threading floss through the connection ports because it's not draped. So you take this little plastic piece off, and you just click it into this square piece. There's no right or wrong way, it just fits either way. Click a few times, then you take the hat off, and there's a tunnel in this green port, which is where this other piece will just fit into, where we just cleaned. And there's a tunnel, and you just fit this cleaning piece down the tunnel. So it's a trap door. Push the trap door down, and then there's a tunnel. And you push this into the tunnel. Click 3 to 5 times. Number doesn't really matter. You can never do too few. Then this, you'll thread, first, let's put the guide on. Then you take your guide first, once you have this cleaned. And it walks you through each step. So it says attach accessories, step 1, attach catheter guide, and then there's a photo of it. So then I just take my guide, and I put it right the side there. It'll click into place, and it'll move to step 2, which is clean sensor connections and attach your catheter. So I just cleaned my sensor connections first. I take the catheter, and I thread this through right here. I'll move this around so everyone can see. So see how I'm threading that through that little circle there? And then I thread it all the way through, and I put the green port into the, let me get this straight, the green port into the little square at the top, and I just give it a little push, one hand underneath the robot, one hand on top, and then it's going to start to do its tests. So this catheter is now going to check the integrity, that there's 8 cables inside this catheter, which actually make it be able to curl up, kind of like a little caterpillar. So right now you can start to see it's going to start to move. So at this point, it's easy to just have this be magnetically connected here, and then it will start to do its system tests. At any point, let's say someone accidentally touches it, it hits a wall, it'll fail its system test. So you just unclick the catheter, reinstall it, and it'll start to do its test again. And that makes sense because it thinks that it failed the test. And you'll start to see it's loading here. And in my accessories kit, I don't have the Vision Probe. I don't have the Vision Probe bag. But then your next step would be to attach the actual Vision Probe, which is your third piece of INA that will come cleaned from SPD or GI. So only 3 pieces you have to attach, and then you have a couple disposable pieces. This is your Vision Probe adapter, which will come as a disposable piece, and it goes small side first, so this is just a little disposable piece.
Can you show the camera, Rachel, because we're
Yes.
videoing this?
Of course.
There's going to be a QC code on the side of this robot with a picture that will take you to the video too.
Perfect. So small side first, through your camera, and you just thread that through, and it screws on. So just like that. And then there's a little fin on here, and the fin attaches to the white, there's a white triangle at the top of the robot up here, and this fin just magnetically goes on to the triangle and just easily attaches. You'll hear a little click. You'll wait a second or two and the camera turns on, so you can see your camera's now on. And then all you do is thread this through the tool channel. And that's all, and now you're completely set up. So not too many pieces. 3 pieces that will come from SPD or GI, and then you have a disposable piece here. You'll have a needle, which will come from Intuitive, and then you also have this swivel connector, which attaches to anesthesia. So this will go right, and it's saying the brakes are unlocked. So all I have to do is press this button down here. Brakes are locked. You'll put a little lube on this catheter. This attaches to anesthesia in your patient, so the bed would be right here, and then your catheter would go down like that. Your guide comes down, and at this point, Dr. Martin would be ready to drive the robot. And then for breakdown, it's everything that we just did, but in reverse. So then Dr. Martin would have a USB, He'd plug this USB into the robot here. You're ready to drive. For breakdown, everything in reverse. So guide would come back, catheter would come out. This is a little gray button here. Press the button, and probably doctor or whoever's performing this would take this part out. And then this is just magnetic, so it turns to the side. Just twist, twist, comes off. Your disposable piece twists off. This would get thrown away. This would go back down to GI or SPD. Removing the catheter, these are two little silver buttons here. Squeeze, comes out. This is saying carriage position, so I'm just gonna push that back up. There's two little buttons here for your catheter guide. Just squeeze those, they come off. And then the whole robot can be wiped down with a purple wipe, besides any of the gold prongs. So gold prongs you're gonna wanna remove. This is disposable too. Looks fancy, but it's
Is that the
disposable.
anesthesia piece?
Yep, this is the anesthesia piece. This is just disposable. And then everything can be wiped down, your screens, and you're just gonna wanna avoid your gold pieces here with the purple wipes, but even all of this can be wiped down. These controllers, oh yeah, you can wipe down the screen, yep. Mm-hmm. These come out, so if you think about it, like the gloves are kinda like wiping, so you can wipe down into these sockets here. The controls will fully come out, so you can wipe all down that too. Yeah, but don't throw the controls away. And then you would fold everything back up at the end of the case so that the arm doesn't get hit by anything. You'd fold your screens back up. Even though it's not going to be transported, but some hospitals, they transport it to different rooms. But it's nice to have everything folded up.
This robot is gonna live in 14 all the time. It might be tucked into the corner, so on cases when we're not using it, but there's space in that room, so it won't be moving in and out of that room.
And then all you would have to do is press this button for 3 seconds and it would turn off. Not too bad.
Does it, and you have to turn that off also?
Nope, this as soon as you turn this
Disconnect.
off,
Okay.
all you have to do is just turn this to the side and that unplugs if you want to separate them. So that was a quick,
cover? Do you guys have a cover?
we don't have a cover. How am I doing on time?
You're doing great. I have a couple of things that they're gonna ask, and then I'll let them ask you questions.
Yeah.
Number one, this is not an emergency procedure. This is a scheduled, booked procedure. Occasionally, will we do them when they're not booked ahead of time because the patient's already an inpatient? Maybe, but it is not something you're gonna see on the weekends. It's not something you're gonna see at night, okay? Second, all of the disposable items that go with this are being ordered. They're going to be left on a shelf outside of the, outside of room 14. That will all be rebuilt. There is going to be another in-service on this the week before we start launch, and that in-service is gonna be done in the room with all of you guys in there, so you can see the scopes, because the thing that we left out of this is all of the, you need a bronchoscopy, you need a bronchoscope, you need a probe, you need the navigational bronchoscope. So you're gonna see all of those when we do the second in-service. And the third thing I just wanna mention is we're in the process of buying all this stuff. It kinda went backwards. We didn't talk to the doctor, say we want this and buy it. The doctor talked to administration, they bought it. So we're behind the 8 ball on getting all the supplies. So that's why we're doing the 2-part rollout, okay? Second, third, last thing I wanna tell you. We're gonna start this new process. Christine and I and the service leads are gonna work on this all together to, anytime we have a new product that comes in for an in-service, we're gonna start videotaping the in-service. We're gonna make a QR code that we'll put either in the book or attach to the equipment so that you can scan it with your phone and it'll take you to YouTube to watch our video, okay? For the people that aren't here. So this isn't the last time you're gonna see this. This is the first time you're gonna see this. And then Rachel, you're gonna be here to support when we start these cases.
Absolutely.
There'll be people here for the first handful of cases that go forward. So that's the admin part of it. Do people have questions for Rachel?
Yeah, did you say there was a bag that went over something?
Yeah, it's basically like a plastic bag
Yeah.
that just
Goes
fits
over that.
over the top here, and it's for the vision probe. So when you take out the vision probe, you just have somewhere to place it, so it's not just kind of dangling there.
So is that sterile?
Yep, it'll come like peel packed, but it's
Okay.
disposable, so you just throw that away.
Where's all this equipment gonna be kept at?
14.
This
14.
part, no, this
The-
part. You didn't mention this part, you
The
mentioned the
scopes
machine.
are, so right now we're ordering a whole new cabinet that's HEPA filtered, fan blown to keep the probes, the new sterile probes, sterile. And we're buying a new Medivator that hopefully will live downstairs in SPD, so the SPD will be processing our probes instead of the GI labs. Those probes will be kept in a sterile cabinet, and that's where we're gonna have them. The disposable items will all be kept on the shelf outside of 14. There'll be a list of the 4 disposable items that you need to open, or however many it is. A list of how many probes you need to get, and where, and obviously we'll let you know where they're gonna be stored. But a new cabinet's been purchased, so when they come, they'll have a home that we go to. The
Thank you.
goal is to get some of the load of this off of the GI lab and getting a separate Medivator, so that Paul doesn't love the idea, but that's what's happening.
So who is gonna be cleaning it?
Eventually SPD. The
Oh,
goal
okay.
is to have these scopes go to SPD.
Okay,
But just these.
But as of right now, the only Medivator we have is there.
right.
We've ordered a new Medivator. It's all, none of this is going live until all the pieces are in place.
Okay.
Okay, but as for whether or not the new Medivator shows up before the first trial run,
It will
I
go
don't
to
know.
GI.
If not, it'll go to GI to be
Okay.
processed.
I think you guys have 5 minutes. Does anyone want to be a brave soul? Try to set it up?